you doing here?
Morning, Betty. Is John Rhodes in yet?
You're a minute early. He passes here at 9:25 on the dot. I didn't see you at the Bennetts last night.
No, we were rather tired.
Is Desmond all right?
Yes, of course. He's fine.
Only I haven't seen him about lately.
Well, he's been up to the eyes, you know.
Oh, poor dear. He's such a pet. Here he is. Mr. Rhodes, Mrs. Pearson is here to see you.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Pearson. Morning, Betty. And how's dear Desmond?
All right, thank you.
Well, what can we do for you? I've just a minute or two before I'm due in with the ambassador.
Can we go into your office?
Yes. Yes, of course. Do sit down, Mrs. Pearson. I hope it's nothing serious.
It's Desmond. He hasn't been home for almost a fortnight.
No. Well, I don't quite see how we can help you.
But I haven't any idea where he is.
I'm sure he'll turn up. He usually does.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he travels quite a lot for his firm. Naturally, we'd like to help, but...
I think you should.
Desmond's rather an independent character. He might not like us prying into his business affairs.
Look at these.
But they're from Desmond. I thought you said you didn't know where he was.
I don't. Each telegram was sent from a different town.
But he's been keeping in touch. I really don't see why you're so worried.
I don't think he sent them. It's unlike him. He always writes. He never sends telegrams.
Well, if there's no news in a day or two, we'll make some inquiries. Now, if you'll excuse me, I mustn't keep the master waiting.
But there must be something wrong. He's never left Prague without telling me.
I really don't think you need to worry, Mrs. Pearson. I'm sure we'll be seeing you both at the reception on Saturday.
Good morning, John.
Sorry I'm late, sir.
Oh, are you?
Couldn't get away from that tiresome Mrs. Pearson.
What's Desmond been up to, then?
She's gone AWOL, sir, nearly a fortnight now. I'd like your advice on this trade mission application, sir.
Oh. Hasn't she heard from him, then?
She said 4 telegrams, but she thinks he didn't send them.
All these marital problems. Right, leave this file with me, will you, John? We'll have a word later in the day.
Oh, as you wish, sir.
Come in, Simon, will you? Right away.
Yes, sir.
Make a signal to London. In code, M9. Just in case they're not aware that one of their men is missing. Desmond Pearson. Are you British? Very much so, old chap. I've had a spot of bother. My taxi's broken down. Could you possibly give me a lift to the nearest taxi rank in Prague? Pleasure. Jump in. I've a couple of bags. Do you mind? Not at all. Sure. Well, Drake, welcome to Prague. Thank you, sir. Actually, it's Stewart, Terence Stewart. I sometimes wonder if you chaps ever know who you really are. Sometimes wonder ourselves. What's the latest news on Pearson? Not a thing. There's nothing to show he's been arrested, either. 2 weeks missing in Czechoslovakia doesn't leave much alternative, does it?
His wife, poor soul, is nearly out of her mind with worry. I've pressed the authorities here, but they know nothing. They never do. The first we ever know is when they come up for trial, if you can call it a trial. He may be lying low, but I can't think why he should.
You realize that he was on to one of our best sources of information we've had behind the curtain?
You know him, then?
Well, Pearson, no. I've had my briefing. If they pulled him in, we've had it. He'll have talked.
Ah, pity.
You probably know the source, a minister, Josef Redl.
Redl?
Yeah.
Well, I never. Cash or by conviction?
Neither. Indiscretion.
Oh, what's her name?
Ira Frankel, one of the most expensive young ladies in Prague, isn't she?
Maybe Stuart? I really wouldn't know about these things.
She may still be a bargain to us.
No, I wonder they didn't send you out here as a member of his firm to look into things. Would have been a very good cover.
I trust that no one at your embassy's ever met him.
No, we made sure of that. By the way, you know Stuart's background?
Yeah, tall, fair, 34, until 3 days ago a member of our embassy in Uruguay.
One of our horizontal heroes. Couldn't keep off the bottle. So you have quite a reputation to live up to, haven't you?
My stomach has. Oh, by the way, sir, I'd like the opposition to know about this weakness of mine as soon as possible.
They'll be falling over each other to meet you. I'll see to that. All I have to do is pass your personal file across a certain desk in this embassy.
Oh, is this the Stewart file, Miss Cross?
Yes, Mr. Rhodes.
Oh, good. Then send him in.
Yes.
May I come in? Terence Stewart, sir?
I can see that. You've had rather a lot of postings these past few years.
Yes, I do get about. It's one of the attractions of the service, sir.
Now, let's see. This is your first time behind the curtain. We have to be much more circumspect in these parts. I, for one, will not tolerate any of these sorts of embarrassments.
Yes, I appreciate that, sir.
Good. Well, you'll have the weekend to settle in. We've an embassy party tonight. We'd like to see you there.
Certainly, sir.
Till 7, then.
Your name, sir?
Stewart. Terence Stewart.
Mr. Terence Stewart.
Ah, Stuart. You're the new man.
Yes, sir.
I hope you'll be happy here. Any problems, let me know.
Thank you very much, sir. Evening.
Dr. and Frau Peter Lotzbier.
I'm glad to see you made it.
Mr. and
What are you
Mrs.
having?
Oh, no,
Robert
thank you.
Nielsen.
Look, we don't expect you to remain totally dry. Come, have one. No harm in one.
Well, if you absolutely twist my arm, dry ginger, please.
Are you quite sure?
No, I'm a reformed character.
Dry ginger, please.
Mrs. Desmond Pearson.
Good evening. We're doing all we can, my dear.
Oh, thank you, Sir Hartley.
Pane Pani.
Good evening, Lady Goodall.
Yarislav Mikoska. Monsieur and Madame Walter Lamprey.
Joan, I'm so terribly sorry to hear about Desmond.
Desmond?
You must not bottle this up. You must confide in your friends. We all want to help you. You know that.
But Desmond's only away on business.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Sir George and Lady Whitelaw.
Who's the handsome lad with Mrs. Pearson?
Know him. Milos Keldor, you mean? I didn't know you knew Mrs. Pearson.
I don't. I just heard her announced.
She should interest you, Stuart. Her husband's vanished. Sir Hartley wants you to look into it.
And what about Caldor?
He's an advisor on cultural relations. I should steer well clear of him if I were you. Unsavory fellow. They say he runs women.
Does he?
I couldn't sufficiently care.
Would you excuse me?
Of course. Oh, good evening, Joan. Mr. Stewart, Mrs. Pearson.
Mrs. Pearson?
Stuart's just joined us from South America.
Oh. John, could I have a word with you when you have a moment?
Oh, I ought to have mentioned it. Stuart's been asked to look into what's happened to Desmond. I'll leave you two together.
Oh, let me get you another drink, Mrs. Pearson.
Thank you. Could I have